The original Pokemon TCG set released for the West all the way back in 1999, and it's still going as strong as ever all the way in 2025. Throughout its lifetime, Pokemon have released 120 new and unique sets for us. Now I've been thinking about something recently. I wonder what the most expensive card is from each of these sets, and I couldn't find one straight answer anywhere. So that's what I'm here for. So let's take it back from 1999 to 2025 and see the most expensive card from each and every set ever released. So of course we're starting off with base set all the way back in 1999, and I think we all know it's going to be Mr. Charizard, going for $5,495 for that beautiful holo right there. Also, I do use a mixture of dollars and pounds throughout this video, depending on what I could find, so deal with it, thank you very much. Next up, we have Jungle, which comes after base set, and of course for this one, we have the beautiful Snorlax holo, going for $250. Then we move on to Fossil, and of course for this one, it is going to be the beautiful Dragonite holo, going for $431. Then with the very original name of base set 2, we're going to be moving on to get, of course, the next Charizard holo for $307 this time instead. Then we're moving on to the infamous Team Rocket set, which is amazing and of course has this Dark Dragonite holo, $319. What a gorgeous card. But of course, moving on to Gym Heroes, which is up next, with this amazing Sabrina's Gengar holo for $580. Then switching over to Gym Challenge, which of course came straight after, with this Blaine's Charizard for $672. Then we're moving on to the Neo era, and of course starting off with Neo Genesis, and it has this beautiful Lugia that is sold for $1,252. Of course, Neo Discovery coming straight after that with this amazing Umbreon holo for $488. Of course, the original Moonbryon. And then we have Neo Revelation coming straight after that with this amazing Shining Gyarados, beautiful card for $1,200. Amazing card. Neo Destiny up next, of course, following up with this amazing Shining Charizard for $2,000. Then we have one of my absolute beloved sets, which is of course Legendary Collection, and of course Charizard making an appearance again for $1,700. Then we move on to E-Series, starting off with Expedition base set, and again, we've got a bit of a theme going here, this Charizard holo for $745, and then we move on to Aquapolis, which is another amazing set, with this beautiful Lugia holo going for $1,001, and then we're moving on to Skyridge, which is of course a very tricky set to try and get packs on, and of course Charizard holo, $1,199 on that one. Then we move on to the EX Ruby and Sapphire, moving on to this beautiful Mewtwo EX for $109, not too much. The second set in the EX series is of course EX Sandstorm, and we're coming in with this beautiful Aerodactyl for $119, so you know, they're a bit cheaper on this EX part. But then we're moving on to EX Dragon, which is then of course got this beautiful Rayquaza EX, which has been sold for $283. Then we have Team Magma versus Team Aqua, which is a very, very unique set. And we have this beautiful Entei EX. Absolutely love this card for $230. EX Hidden Legends coming up next, which is another great set, which of course has this beautiful Ninetales EX, last sold for $242. Moving on to Fire Red Leaf Green, a big fan favourite of the series, having this beautiful Charizard EX for $891. And then of course EX Team Rocket returns. Absolutely love this set, love the artwork in this set. And we've got of course the Gold Star got Torchic for $2,500. Beautiful, expensive card. EX Deoxys, of course, has this Raikou card, which is absolutely amazing, for $213. Moving swiftly on to EX Emerald, which has this amazing EX Deoxys for $232, being the most expensive card in the set. EX Unseen Forces has some amazing cards in it, but this one here, this Lugia, tops it off with the $649 card even. EX Delta Species coming up straight after that with this big Shining Gyarados Gold Star for £1,200. EX Legend Maker is up next with some really, really unique cards in it, but this one here, this Registeel Gold Star, tops it off at £709. Moving then swiftly on to EX Holland Phantoms, another really, really cool set here, but this Gold Star Pikachu, of course, for £1,772 has got to top it off. Love that card, such a good one. Then we have EX Crystal Guardians with the Alakazam Gold Star Star for £779 even. And then of course EX Dragon Frontiers has this beautiful Gold Star Charizard, my favourite Charizard card, for £1,773. Then we have EX Power Keepers, which of course finishes off the series with Vaporeon Gold Star for £675. The next era that follows up is of course Diamond and Pearl, and we're starting off pretty cheap with this Torterra Level X with £88 as the most expensive card. Moving swiftly on to Mysterious Treasures coming up next, which again has a relatively cheap one, the Lucario Level X for £115, so a bit more but still not that much really. Of course Secret Wonders comes up after that with this amazing Reverse Holo Charizard, actually a really unique one, for £145, and then Great Encounters follows it up with another relatively cheap one with this Dialga Level X going for £79, which is another really nice one but pretty cheap, followed up by Majestic Dawn with a bit more expensive Leafeon Level X for £277, obviously the superior one of course. Legends Awakened is then of course coming up right after that with this Mewtwo Level X for £101, so a little bit less but still pretty good. Stormfront is then up next with this amazing Charizard card for $346, but then of course we're moving on to Platinum, straight away moving on to Platinum when we're going to be looking at this beautiful shiny Vulpix Reverse for $114 as the most expensive card here. Platinum Rising Rivals is up next with this amazing Snorlax Level X for $280, pounds even, love that card, such a nice one. Platinum Supreme Victors is up next with this Moltres Holo for £245, absolutely love that one. Then we have Platinum Arceus, of course, finishing off with this Gengar Level X for £149. We are then moving on to the HeartGold SoulSilver era of the Pokemon TCG, and I may be slightly cheating on this one because it's a legend card, so it's technically two, but $221 on that Lugia legend card is the most expensive one, following up by Unleashed, which again is another legend card. It is the Raikou Suicune, which is £169, and then we have Undaunted, which is of course followed up with this beautiful Primal Umbreon card for £225, love that one. And then we have Triumphant, which is another really cool one with this Level X, Primal Gengar for £236. Moving then on to Call of Legends, the standalone set, which has this amazing Rayquaza Holo for £325. The Black and White era is then up next, and we're starting off with a bang with this beautiful full art of Zekrom, the black full art for £203, love that card, such a nice one. Moving on to Emerging Powers as our second set in this series with this Thundurus for £39, which I think might be the cheapest of the video. Actually no, there's one more that's cheaper, never mind. Noble Victories up next with this amazing N full art for £210, so you know, expensive trainer, the first one of the video so far. Next Destinies is obviously up next, haha, with this Zekrom full art for £221, really love that one. Then we have Dark Explorers, which has this amazing shiny Gardevoir Holo for £339, a really expensive one right there. And then we have Dragons Exalted up next, which has this beautiful Mew full art for £313. Then we have the super unique set of Dragon Vault up next, which has this amazing, of course, black and white barcode sort of holo for $51 as the most expensive card. Then we're moving on to Boundaries Crossed with a really cool artwork of White Kyurem here for £265, really nice one. Then we have Plasma Storm kicking off with the Plasmas that has this Charizard, beautiful gold bordered card for £446. Plasma Freeze is up next with this amazing gold Ultra Ball, first item of the video for £442. And then we have Plasma Blast as the last plasma with another item, the gold rare candy for £181, so slightly less. But then we have Legendary Treasures as the last set of black and white with this gold Reshiram for $174. Of course, then we have the XY era coming up next, starting off with base set. With a pretty cheap card, we have the Blastoise going for £88 on that one. But then we move on to Flashfire with a slightly more expensive card, being this beautiful Mega Charizard for £516. Then moving on to Furious Fist, which actually was quite surprising to me that it's not actually the Mega Lucario, but just a normal full art Lucario for £132 is the most expensive in the set. So Phantom Force Forces is up next, of course, with the beautiful Gengar Fuller for £353. Beautiful card, but super expensive to try and grab that one. Primal Clash is up next with this amazing Primal Groudon, and it is such a gorgeous card for £142 as well. Such a good one. Then we have Double Crisis with this really unique card, the Team Aqua's Kyogre, for £752. So very expensive, but really unique card. So definitely say it would probably be worth it. Roaring Skies, of course, has the Mega Rayquaza for £540. Absolutely love that card. And then we have Ancient Origins with a very similar theme with another Mega Rayquaza card for £684 this time instead. So a little bit more pricey. Then we have the two break sets. We have Breakthrough, which actually is the most expensive card, has to be this Mega Mewtwo, of course, for £232, sorry. And then we have Breakpoint, which has then followed up with this amazing Gyarados card for £234. We then have the very special set of Generations up next with some amazing cards, but the most expensive has to be this beautiful Flareon card for £353, being the most expensive one. Fates Collide is up next with another one that is a good fan favourite in my books, and it is the Alakazam EX for £224. Love that card, such a good one, honestly. Steam Siege is up next with this beautiful Gardevoir EX for £170. And then bringing XY to an end, we have Evolutions, which of course the most expensive card is this Mega Charizard for $106. We are then moving on to the Sun and Moon era, which is an era that I absolutely love in the TCG. It's got so many amazing cards, but the first one has got to be this Lily Full Art for £106, being the most expensive card in the set. And then we have Guardians Rising up next with this beautiful Rainbow Sylveon GX for £123. And then moving on to Burning Shadows, which of course has the infamous Rainbow Zard for £363, being the most expensive one in the set. Shining Legends, of course, has the infamous Mewtwo for £398, being the most expensive card in the set. Crimson Invasion is up next with a slightly cheaper one with this Trainer Full Art being £66, not 600. Whoa, calm down. Ultra Prism is up next with this amazing card right here. This beautiful Lily Full Art, which is of course £515 because it's the biggest probably waifu in Pokemon, I don't know, but it seems like it. Anyways, Forbidden Light, Lucario GX for $70 being the most expensive card, slightly less than the one before that. And then we have Celestial Storm with this the trainer seems to be very popular for $283. Then as we move on down the Sun and Moon era, we have Dragon Majesty up next with this amazing gold Ultra Necrozma card for only $76, which is very cheap, but a really nice card. And then we have Lost Thunder, which is a bit more expensive with this Lugia GX Rainbow for $187. And then of course we have the biggest one in a very long time, team up with the of course Tag Team Latios for £2,211. Absolutely astonishing. But then we have the cheapest of the whole entire video. We have this Holo Charizard for a mere $8. So if you want to try and get an expensive set, don't go for Detective Pichu. And then we have Unbroken Bonds with this beautiful Gardevoir Sylveon tag team for $434, being another beautiful tag team. Unified Minds is up next with this Misty's Favor, £516 there. Again, clearly the trainers are doing very well in Sun and Moon. But then we have Hidden Fates with another very famous shiny Charizard card for £516. And then to finish off the Sun and Moon era, we have Cosmic Eclipse with this beautiful Solgaleo and Lunala tag team for £394. We then have the penultimate era of Pokemon TCG, starting off with Sword and Shield base set, having this beautiful Snorlax VMAX for £48, being the most expensive one. And then we have this Rebel Clash set, which of course has Boss's Orders for $68, so a little bit more expensive, but you know, still a really nice card. Darkness Ablaze is up next with this amazing Charizard VMAX for £66, so pretty cheap Charizard in comparing it to other ones we've seen on today's video. And then we have Champion's Path, which has this shiny Charizard for £210, matching a bit more of what you usually find with a Charizard card. And then we have Vivid Voltage with none other than the chunky Rainbow Chew himself for £180. Shining Fate is up next with another one that I thought was actually a bit more expensive, but it's still beautiful, of course, with the Charizard VMAX shiny this time for $111, which I thought it was a bit more expensive than that. But then we have Battle Styles, which introduces us to the alt art. So we're starting off with a Tyranitar for £206, moving then on to Chilling Reign with the infamous Blaziken, of course, VMAX alt art for $373. Of course, Evolving Skies, it needs no introduction because we all know the Mr. Moonbryon, £1,990 on that one. Boy, it's an expensive card. And then we have Celebrations, which is taking it down a little bit with the Metal Charizard card for £176 on that one. Fusion Strike is going up a lot at the moment, and of course the most expensive card is the Gengar alt art for £805, which is going up so much. And then we have Brilliant Stars, which is again coming back with another Charizard, but this time the alt art for £294 on that one. Moving swiftly on to Astral Radiance, which has a slightly cheaper one for this Machamp being £158 this time. Then we're moving on to a definitely cheaper one being Pokemon Go, as it's not really seen as a fan favourite. But then we have, of course, this Mewtwo alt art for £48, so nice card to pick up, very cheap in comparison to other ones we've seen today. Lost Origin then has this beautiful Giratina for £787. Such an expensive card, but honestly very worth it. It's a beautiful card. Then we have Silver Tempest with the Lugia alt art for £314. Moving on to Crown Zenith, the best set of Sword and Shield, with this amazing Giratina Gold V-Star for £224. Then we move on to Scarlet and Violet, the current modern day era of the Pokemon TCG, starting off with this Gardevoir for £39. Very cheap compared to what it used to be, to be honest. So if you want to pick it up, do it now. Paldea Evolve, of course, has the Magikarp illustration rare for $190, so a lot more expensive than the special illustration rare, funnily enough. Obsidian Flames, of course, is famous for the Charizard illustration rare, so special illustration rare, sorry, but only again for £61, so not too much on that one. 151, obviously everyone's most beloved set, of course, has the Charizard SIR for $206 being the most expensive on this one. And then we have Paradox Rift, which is a bit cheaper, having this Groudon illustration rare for $74. Then we have Paldean Fate, which of course is another one which has been creeping up a lot recently, with the amazing Bubble Mew for $301. Switching gears to a slightly less fan favourite one, being Temporal Forces, especially in my books to be honest, but we have this amazing Raging Bolt SIR for $82 being the most expensive card. Then completely flipping around to my favourite set, being Twilight Masquerade, and we have the Greninja SIR for $295 being the most expensive card. And then flipping back again to probably being the least favourite Scarlet and Violet set, being Shrouded Fable with this Earthen Vessel gold card for $49, so cheap item card in this one. Stellar Crown is another one that has a few popular cards, including of course this Squirtle IR for $59, so pretty cheap to be honest. I feel like one day that's gonna hike up a lot more than that. Surging Sparks, of course we all know it's gonna be this beautiful Pikachu for $287. Again, it needs absolutely no introduction, but Prismatic Evolutions, of course, has the new Moonbryon for $1,245. Wow. And then we have Journey Together, which is taking it down a little bit, but still expensive. We had Lily's Clefairy SIR for $159, bringing it all the way to an end, with Destined Rivals being the most expensive card is Ethan's Ho-Oh for $190. Boy, that took a little bit of time, didn't it? But we managed to get through all 120 sets ever released. If you made it to the end of the video, then make sure to let me know down below in the comments what your favourite card is from the video, because I'll be really curious to know. I definitely have a few tops in there, but I'd love to know what yours is. And as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, share around. It helps so much, so please make sure to do that. And a huge thank you to my Greatest Lab team members of my YouTube channel, of course being PokeSwamper, TechPunk Ash and Willow Collects TCG. Thank you so much for your support on my channel, it means so much, and I have so much more content coming, so if you fancy signing up today, then make sure to check out down below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!